diffuse. Trade fights for better views. We both need something new. Maybe we should just tell them. I shouldn't think I is so good. So long to rendezvous. So long to
Hello, hive-minded readers, and welcome to the Books and the Bees podcast. Just like bees play a crucial role in pollinating flowers and sustaining life, books pollinate minds and nurture the soul. We see the connection between the two, the delicate dance of ideas and stories that enrich our lives.
I'm Hailey.
And I'm Cody.
Welcome to our podcast.
Hello, Hailey.
Hello.
Welcome. Episode 52.
52. We officially are at a year.
We're a year old. Let's go. It's actually like a week from today that we're a year old, but whatever.
It's fine. We're
It's fine.
just doing a little preemptive celebration.
Yeah. No, 52 episodes. That's an accomplishment. Not many podcasts, I don't think, make it to 52. So
I know. We're persistent.
we're persistent. Yeah. I'm proud of us.
Hell yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm tired.
Yeah. Me too.
Another long week.
Another week.
Yeah.
Out in the streets.
Out here in these streets. We're out here.
I was just telling you before we started, but we got some inclement weather in Virginia where we had 3 inches of snow earlier this week, and the whole city that I live in was shut down. Nobody knows how to do anything in the snow here, so that's been kind of fun.
I love it.
So that's been my week. I'm still biking to work every day in this snow hell that we're in, but not too bad. Yeah.
Wow. Do they have bike lanes where you live, or is that?
They do. They're
Okay.
currently covered in snow.
Gotcha.
So I am in the road biking. So
That's so scary. I'm proud of you.
it's definitely different, but I have not had too much altercations, I'll say. So
Okay. Well, that's good.
yeah. I'm also on an e-bike, and I think the e-bike lets me drive faster, so I don't bother drivers too much.
That's fair.
And then most of my commute is like through the downtown area, and it's not very fast because of just traffic. So I don't think people are really that upset with the bike being in the road.
That's
thankfully.
good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
It's been a week.
It has been a week. It's been a past couple of few days. I just want to say, our hearts go out to all of the people in LA that are going through
yes.
huge tragedy right now.
Yes.
There are tons of which I feel like I want to talk about this a little bit, but despite tragedy happening, which obviously we want to hold space for tragedy that happens, but I really love seeing humankind come together. I don't know what it is. Makes me feel hope, makes me feel a little all the good feelies inside. I hope that the people that are going through what they're going through are getting the help that they need. And yeah,
I agree. It's definitely tragic. It's the most expensive fire in the history of the world or America or whatever. It's definitely a devastating fire, and as bad as it is, I hope that this is a good warning sign to people who have maybe overlooked what happens with climate change and lack of water and mismanagement of the environment. This is what happens. And this is what happens, and even rich people in LA are not immune to the devastation of environmental disaster. So I don't wish this on anybody. I don't want anybody's house to burn down. I'm not saying that, but when high profile people get their houses burned down, people pay more attention, and hopefully that leads to more help for everyone to get that. But it's been rough. I'm glad you brought it up because I have blocked it out of my mind. I just could not look at the images after the first day. It's just devastating.
Yeah, it is devastating. And I know, those of us in the Pacific Northwest are not strangers to wildfires or any fires, really. Every summer is fire season, and
it's tough.
It's tough.
It's so tough.
People lose a lot of stuff, and people get lost. So yeah, but bright note, I saw like Mexico was sending firefighters, Canada was sending help, Washington was sending help. Man, we're out here. Like,
people come
let's
together.
go.
People come together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely we're living on the West Coast. The fire fire situation over there is crazy.
It's bad. It's really bad.
But you don't hear about fires in January very often. Usually you have a lull.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
True.
Rough.
It's rough.
It's rough. Yeah. But yeah, our hearts go out. And hopefully by the time this episode comes out, the fire is like well managed and things are on the downhill trend in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Should we jump into what we're reading?
Yeah. Let's.
Okay. Hailey, you want to start?
Yeah. Not to like, yeah. My book, oddly enough, is called Tragic Bonds.
No.
I'm so sorry. I didn't do that on purpose. I promise. It is just happenstance. But it is the 5th book in the Bonds That Tie series by Bree. I'm almost done. I have one more book left. I'm almost done with this 5th book. It's so good. I can't really talk about it too much because it's hella spoilers. I mean, I'm deep in the series, so but there's been lots of character development, lots of relationships between characters being built. We're finally starting to like approach the climax of the story. There's been it's definitely much more action-packed than I was initially thinking that it would be for the series. At first I thought it was just gonna be like a fun little reverse harem situation with like, I don't know, fucking 6 books of smut. I don't know. But it's actually like a fairly well thought out plot with lots of action, lots of twists and turns, and you know, try to get the bad guy and fail and try again, and it's been pretty good. Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I know you've enjoyed like every book up to this one, including this one, so and you're working your way through it, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's really good, and I'm determined to finish the freaking series because I'm like,
sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Is the 6th book the last book or just the last current book?
I sure freaking hope so. That's why I said it's a fairly well thought out like plot and stuff. I feel like in this book that I'm in currently, we're like starting to approach the point of no return as far as like this needs to end.
Okay.
So I hope that the 6th book is the last book. Maybe if there's like a 7th, it might be like an epilogue or something.
Got it.
But yeah, it's
Cool. Very exciting.
Yeah. What book are you getting into, or books?
Yeah, I've got 2 to talk about. One that I finished that I'm really excited about, and then one that I'm currently reading. The one that I finished is called All This and More by Peng, and this is a book that's a choose your own adventure sci-fi book where the main character's name is Marsh, and she has been invited onto this game show that's sort of like a reality TV show where scientists have discovered how to time travel, basically, and you can go back in time and change the choices that you've made in your life. And so Marsh is a paralegal who always wanted to be a lawyer, but she got married to a guy who wanted to get his PhD, and they had a kid, and so she put her career on the side so that he could get his degree. And so, you know, that's one of the options that she could make. She's now divorced from her husband because he cheated on her, and there are some choices down the line with that. It's a really good book, and you get to choose like which path Marsh goes down. It's definitely not a classic choose your own adventure because she doesn't like die abruptly or, get eaten by a dragon or whatever. Like the narrative still continues. And I think it was hard because I read this on my ebook. So I don't know if I like read the full book, if you know what I mean. Like I don't know if I explored every possible option, but I think I did at the end of it. And then it kind of takes a turn about halfway through, and it's a really interesting book, and I kind of saw where it was going, but I was still shocked at the end, and I really, really enjoyed this book. It was definitely an interesting way to experience the story, and I kind of wish stories would do this more often. I wish books would be more like Choose Your Own Adventure, because they're kind of fun. They're kind of fun to do. And Peng Shepherd, she wrote a book called The Cartographers that I really loved that came out a couple years ago. So she's really holding it up for me. She's doing great stuff. And I think this is a good book and would highly recommend it to anybody.
Dang. That sounds so cool.
It was fun. It was a really fun read. And I enjoyed it a lot. I bought it too. So like I'm excited to like be able to read it
Hell yeah.
in the future. So yeah, it was good. It was really good. The other book that I'm reading is a part of a series too. It's called Caliban's War by James S.A. Corey. And for those of the sci-fi crazy fans out there, this is book 2 of the Expanse series, which is an Amazon TV show now, but it's a book series, and I think there's 9 in the series total. And this is book 2. I read book 1 maybe back in 2022, I want to say, or maybe 2023. It's been a while. And I never got into book 2 for a couple different reasons, and finally decided to pick it up. And it's good. I'm really enjoying it. I probably am about 40% into the book, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it because it is a series that's directly impacted by the first book. But if you know The Expanse, it's basically about it's a space opera about this proto-molecule that was brought into our galaxy by probably an alien force, and some company decided to experiment on humans with it, and it went bad. That's like the premise of the whole series, I think. So I'm enjoying it. It's a good book. I've been looking for a series since Throne of Glass. Like when I finished Throne of Glass, I was kind of looking for another series, and I think this one's going to scratch that itch because of how big it is. All these books are really big too. I think this one's like 600 pages.
Dang.
Yeah, it's big. And there's also novellas that are attached with it, and then there's the show. So like there's a whole ecosystem to work in here. So I'm really excited to continue with it, and it's good.
Wow. That sounds really cool too. Dang,
Yeah.
that's some good books that you got reading, or that you're reading.
Yeah, I'm in my sci-fi era right now. Like something about sci-fi books are just rocking it for me right now.
I've kind of noticed that.
Yeah.
In your sci-fi era.
I tend to like rotate through. Like I was in horror for a while last year, and then I was in fantasy for a little bit, and then romance for a little bit too. Actually, there was a while I was reading nothing but romances, and now I'm into sci-fi. So I'll probably get back into something else soon. But yeah.
Wow.
It's
Awesome.
good. I'm quite the mood reader, so that makes sense that I like rotate through these like genres. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yay. Yep. Great books. We're both reading great books. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. What would you rate Tragic Bonds on the Honey Scale? Did we talk about this before?
I'm trying to think. Well,
You said it's a reverse harem. Is that one girl, multiple guys?
Yeah. But it's really interesting because, like, I mean, some of the reverse harems that I've read, they tend to have, like, sure, the relationship of the girl, but they also have, like, relationships between some of the men, too. And this is very much like, none of the guys seem to have, like, outside of, like, really close, like, brotherhood / like, friendship bonds. Spoilers, I guess, kind of. You pretty much learn who everyone is in the first book, so at least like the core main characters. So, but yeah, I think it, and that's the thing is, I feel like this particular book is way less hot and heavy than the first couple, like 2, 3. But I mean, I'd still put it at like a honeyed frenzy because there's quite a bit of like, it's pretty explicit in some of the scenes, but there's less scenes in this book than there have been.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think. I need to check to see how far in I am into the book. I'm 71% done. So.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
You're on the downhill slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep.
It's tough. I was just thinking about rating books on the honey, like on any scale, like spicy scale. And it's tough because they can be really spicy scenes, but if there's not that many of them, like what do you rate it at? And I've always kind of struggled with that as a, book person. Yeah.
No, it's a good thing to like kind of think about or like ponder about because or a good point, I guess, to have is like, even if, because like a book could have like one really hot and heavy scene, you're like, okay, but it wasn't
What do
like,
you rate it?
Yeah. To me, my, when I think of like a honeyed frenzy, I'm thinking like the majority of the book is more like smut centric.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
I agree.
Beekeeper's Passion and Below, I would say that that's more stuff like, it can be throughout the book, but it's less hot and heavy. Mm-hmm. Or like the less scenes there are, the less I take into consideration that it's like smut centric, I guess.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think, and we talked about this before, but like A Court of Silver Flames, I think we both are kind of into like the, I don't know, 4, like A Beekeeper's Passion for that one.
Yep.
Because there's a decent amount of sex scenes and they are kind of hot and heavy, but I wouldn't say it's not like they were just banging all the time.
Yeah.
There's
still plot.
Yeah, there's still plot. Whereas maybe the I always forget the books. That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon.
Oh yeah,
like that was a 5. That was a honeyed frenzy.
Yes, yes, very much so, very much so. It was very, but you know what though is like even though it was like so like smut heavy, it still was like really readable and like you wanted the story to progress.
Yeah, and it was like outside of the spicy scenes, it was actually like a really cute, cozy story almost. Like the plot was there, but you didn't feel like it was a high suspense fantasy book. It felt like more like a chill fantasy, which is what I really liked about that whole trilogy.
Yeah, and like the Tragic Bonds, the Bonds That Tie, the series that I'm reading currently, it's very action heavy and it's way less cozy. It's very like things are happening like constantly and there's like lots of, like I said, twists and turns and things where you go, oh shit, that's happening, or oh like characters are introduced where you're like, I don't know if I can trust them because they might be the bad guy, so it's very mind gamey.
That reminds me of Butcher and Blackbird. I think Butcher and Blackbird kind of gave me the same vibe that you're describing. Yeah, because there's sex scenes for sure. I don't know if I talked about this did I talk about this book on the podcast? I don't remember if I did or if I rated it. But I would probably put it at like a 3 or 4 maybe, because there's just so much plot happening that like the sex scenes were definitely not the priority.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, I don't even remember the sex scenes, to be honest. So maybe, I don't remember. I remember some really weird scenes, but they were not. Yeah. They were not sexy.
You're like,
If you know, you know. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, funny. Good book. Should we jump into beekeeping?
Yeah.
Cool. I just have one beekeeping item that we touched upon last week and I thought I would expand on. Since I'm such a big spreadsheet person and I introduced the Cawpile, CAWPILE spreadsheet that I said I would start using for this year. And I have to say, I've been using it for the whole year now, and I've got 5 books tracked in it so far. And I'm loving it. I think it's really fun. I've talked about it last week, and I also posted in the show notes last week all the like links to everything and the YouTube video of the girl who made it. So this is not something that I made. This is something somebody else made and came up with. And everything's kind of the same as far as like it tracks like who the author is, when I read it, how many pages it is, what type of book it is, if it's a novel, novella, etc., etc. But the new part is the pile part, where you break the book down by character, atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment. And I have to say I really have enjoyed this part of the spreadsheet because it makes me think about my books more. Like, it makes me be more critical about my books in a way of like, what did I enjoy about this book? Did I enjoy the characters? Did I enjoy the writing? Did I enjoy the logic? And that kind of goes back to our reading doorway, reading doorway conversation that we had. Like, you know, is it a plot book? Is it a character book? Is it a setting book? And I have to say, a lot of my books so far, because they've been sci-fi, have been more on the setting realm of things, like the atmosphere of it, and I've really enjoyed them. And so it's kind of helped me like think more about why have I enjoyed these books specifically, rather than me just like doing it on my own. It kind of gives me a prompt to do it, and then you give each section of this a 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and then it gives you a rating based off of your rating for each thing. So just for example, I guess I'll just go ahead and let's do this for All This and More, that I just talked about. I gave the character a 7, atmosphere a 7, writing a 9, plot a 10, intrigue a 9, logic a 7, and enjoyment a 9. And that translated to a rating of 8.29. And then they translate it into stars, and it's a 4-star. And I think that's perfect. I think it's cool. A total 4-star book. Like, if I were to put that at 4-star, I would. Or put it on Goodreads, I think I would put it to 4-star. So it is interesting. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying that part of it. I think it's really fun. I'm definitely going to continue with it. And for anybody who's interested out there, I would say check it out. I'll put the link in this episode show notes too, because I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it.
Hell yeah. That's really cool. I feel like that would also be like a really good tool for if you had like if you were like an avid Goodreads reviewer, or if you were doing NetGalley. I feel like that'd be a good tool to have, because then you could give it a really good, accurate like star rating based off an actual system, like an algorithm, instead of just being like, well, out of 5 stars, I would rate it this much because I liked it or I didn't like it, which is kind of what I do, to be completely honest.
Same.
There's really no like threshold or criteria that has to be met in my brain. I truly just, it's vibes. I'm like, this is a good book, or it wasn't a good book, and then I'll like rate it accordingly. I would never rate it publicly because that's not me. Because I'm weird like that. But yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah. And I like what you're saying too, because I've always been skeptical of the star rating. We've talked about this before, because like for me, if I read a 3-star book, it was like a book I didn't super enjoy, you know, like if I say a book's a 3-star book, it's like, well, I finished it, but like, did I really need to finish it? I don't know the answer to that question. You know, I want a lot of my books to be 4 stars and 5 stars. So, and that's not a great metric for when you're reviewing books, because like, I think a 3-star book is good feedback for people, but it's just not the way I think about books. Like, I personally, as a reader, don't want to be reading 3-star books all the time. But it should be your average. Like, you should be averaging 3-star books. So,
No, that's
and
true.
I've never given a book 1 star that wasn't completely like
horrible,
homophobic or racist or something. Yeah, like
awful.
Like it has to be really bad for me to give it a 1 star, because if it's that bad, I'm just not going to finish it, and then I don't feel like I deserve to give it a star rating.
It like has to be like offensive.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have to be mad to give it a 1 star.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's great. I'm enjoying it. It's a really fun spreadsheet. I'm really enjoying it. I think the biggest challenge is still, I've had a little bit of reluctance just filling it out, because it is a lot of work, but I like the graphs, so I'll probably keep it for a little while.
Cool.
At least.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's fun. It's fun.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Hailey, do you have any beekeeping?
Kinda. So, I think last episode or the episode before that, I said that I had a Kindle Reader clicker thingy.
Yes.
That's the technical term.
Yeah, it is. Very technical.
But, and I guess I could, but I can't read the brand anyways. I was gonna say maybe I could give you guys the brand too, but I like literally cannot read what brand it is. But this is what it looks like. This is a little duty bop.
Oh, it's tiny.
It is teeny tiny, and you just like clip it on your Kindle. Sorry, for those listening, I'm showing Cody how how I use the Kindle.
It looks like a book light without the light.
Yeah, so I'll just go to this one. And then you like make sure that it's on or whatever, and there's like a little button on the back that you push. And then here's the remote. It literally looks like not a remote.
No, it doesn't look like a remote at all.
And then there's like two buttons. Now I can't discern if one's a back button or not, because every time I press one of the buttons or both of the buttons, they do the same thing, so I don't know what the hell. This is, by the way, this is my official review. But I wanted to give an update because I've been using it and I freaking love it. But you just click it and then it changes the page.
Whoa.
It's wonderful.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. I can say that I understand now why all the people who do have the clicker thing have a little stand, because
yes,
there's nothing that I hate more than when I'm trying to read my book on my Kindle and I have my Kindle, I'm laying down on my side horizontally and my Kindle's like this and I'm trying to read and click. So I've kind of like just maneuvered my pillows and blankets so that way I can have my Kindle at the angle that I want it. But holy shit, is this thing nifty, because I'm a lazy bitch and that it really makes me lazier. So
no, it's amazing because you don't have to. I actually don't like holding my Kobo, like my e-reader. I don't like holding it. Because it's just really awkward. So having that and being able to click it is a great idea. I think the reason that it doesn't go back, and I don't know how to fix this unless you have two of them, which seems really weird, because on your Kindle, when you touch that side of the thing, it'll go forward, but if you touch the other side, it'll go back, right?
Right.
So you would need to have two to go.
And have one labeled back and one labeled forward. That's so funny.
But realistically, how often do you go back?
Very rarely.
Not very often.
Yeah, very rarely. Unless it's like a word gets cut off, or you know what I mean, like where they hyphenate those stupid freaking words, or if I'm like not paying attention and I don't remember. But in that case, I'm not that lazy. I can just tap the goddamn screen. Like, okay.
Make no sacrifice.
Right. And it's like, okay, and I don't know like what colors these come in, but the one that I got is the cutest shade of pink, one of my favorite shades of pink.
It's very cute.
It's like borderline pastel pink, so
it matches your like Kindle aesthetic.
It does. Yeah. For those of you wondering, I have a lavender purple background and pink and black and white stickers. And then
it matches really well.
Yeah, and then I have a blue pop socket on there because I'm a millennial/zillennial who likes pop sockets.
Gotta have the pop socket. Have the pop socket.
Apparently those were like not cool anymore, and you guys can suck it because those things are fucking amazing and they make my life really easy. But yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently they're like not cool anymore, and like it like ages you. Like when people like see us in the wild, they're like, "Oh my god, you must be over the age of 25 because you use a pop socket." Because that's an accurate metric of someone's age. Is ableism, but go off.
Yeah, it's definitely like I have it with my phone. I have a pop socket on my phone. Yeah. And I don't on my tablet. And it's so hard to hold my tablet. It is just physically impossible. And then my Kobo, I don't have a pop socket, but I think I've shown this to you and I talked about it on the podcast. But my Kobo has a little like the button is on like a side part of it that's like angled a little bit, and so you hold it on the angled part. Hailey's dying.
Sorry,
I'm describing this. It has a little bit of an angle, so it's easier to hold it in that respect. So I don't have a pop socket, but sometimes I wish I do. It's just, I don't know. Pop sockets are also kind of expensive. Like the last one I bought was like $10.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I buying these expensive ass pop sockets for?
Yo, they have some for like $25 at Target. No joke.
$25?
No
That's
joke.
Insane.
Isn't it?
That's insane. That's
They're
insane.
like super fancy and really big. So like
that's why.
kind of okay, but like also Jesus. Mine,
The one on my phone is from a conference that I got by winning something.
Mine's a Bulbasaur.
Hey, oh, that's adorable. I love that.
Yeah, I have a
love
problem. I love Bulbasaur.
I love that. Yeah, Bulbasaur's great.
Yeah, I just have really small hands, so I need to have a pop socket.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm pro pop socket for sure.
Yeah,
100%. Well, thank you for reviewing your Kindle and your pop socket.
Thank you for giving your rundown of the call pile. I think it's a really good tool, to be honest. So
we did this is like a book tech segment. Honestly. Like
let's go.
A little book tech segment. Yeah, it was cool.
Look at us. We're so techy.
Unintentional.
Yeah.
Unintentional. Yeah. Funny. So you might not know this, Hailey, but this episode is our 1-year episode. And we decided to celebrate with some stats and some look back on our favorite episodes and some questions that I pulled up that actually ChatGPT wrote for me to talk about how well we've done throughout the first year. And I just wanted to start by saying, Hailey, do you have any like fun moments that you want to share, like from the year, like episodes that stand out to you?
Oh man,
whatever it might be.
I think some of the episodes, which I feel like we might talk about a little bit in the top episodes, but one of my favorites that we did was the interview with Jamie Harrow.
That's like my favorite episode. Yeah,
I think that's like a top
episode.
life moment for me too. That was fucking cool. I want to do so much more of that this year. I think that'd be so much more fun. And I hope that if Jamie is listening to this, I hope you're doing well. And I hope you and your book are being super successful. I've seen...
I believe she's writing book 2. I think she's writing a second book. I don't think it's like a sequel or anything. But so hopefully we can get her back on when she's got the next book coming out.
Hell yeah. I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. That'd be so much fun.
It was a good conversation.
And our snack episode. That was fun. I really liked that.
The snack episode is it's not our like most listened to episode, but it's our most listened to episode outside of like the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So that one is like probably our most famous episode, I would say. Which is really cool.
That was
that's
so
a great
much fun.
episode.
I loved it.
It was a great episode. I loved that one. Yeah. That one stands out.
And then honestly, not necessarily an episode, but just us reading the oh my god, the book that we read together, the Practice of Malice. Education of Malice. There we go.
Education of Malice. Yep. Education of Malice. Yep.
But
that was the best co-read we did of the year.
I agree.
For sure.
I loved it. I thought it was fun. I love that book. I think it was such a good book.
It's a great book. It's a great book.
And yeah, I wish or hope that people listen to that section, I guess, of our podcast. And I hope that they read along with us in the future. And
yeah, we should definitely try to do some co-reads this year. We haven't done it in a little while since that last one, actually.
Yeah, I know.
I think that was our last one. Yeah, so we should we'll chat and maybe do one for
sure.
February or March. We'll see.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah, because those are fun. I enjoy them. We also did Ice Planet Barbarians, which Those episodes are also relatively popular. I
Really?
think just because like the book Ice Planet Barbarians, like people just look up stuff about that book
Yeah.
all the time. So I think it came up. That book, I'm glad we read it, but it's a crazy book.
Hell yeah. It is a crazy book. It's
It's a crazy book.
When I was reading it, I was like, wow, this is like, I couldn't believe, well, not that I couldn't believe, but I feel like all the hype or like talk about it kind of lived up to the book, because people are like, what the hell? But also like, did I just find my new like
Yeah, like what the hell, but also I'm enjoying this.
yeah, like, am I into this? Oh, I'm into this. Interesting. Okay.
So true. That's so true.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely fun. And then I guess we should mention our other co-read, which didn't go very well, which was
God.
Assassin's Blade from Throne of Glass.
I had such
we
high hopes for
dumped.
that. I had such high hopes for that. And it just,
I know.
nah.
We just read it. We just read it wrong. We should have read it before
Mhm.
like the series, because both of us were not interested in learning more about Selena at all.
It made me so sad.
Me too. And I wish, like, because so much made sense too with the novellas, like seeing the like the pirate thing come into play, and the one lady from the desert area or whatever come to play. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this is where all these people are coming from that I am kind of not understanding in the regular series.
Right? You're like, who are these people? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Got it.
I missed a lot of context here. That's what happened. But also, I don't care about the context because I've already read the full series.
Because you're like, I already know what happened, so okay.
And that brings me to, we did a Throne of Glass summary episode after I finished the series. I read the whole series last year except for the first one.
That's right.
And so I've talked about every Throne of Glass book except for the first one on the podcast. And it was a wild ride. It's the first time, honestly, I think that I've read a series like that as quickly, because I tend to, like with the Expanse series, I tend to read a book like every few years and then just kind of slowly catch up and finish with it. But with Throne of Glass, I just went straight through it. And I did that with ACOTAR too, actually. I went all the way through ACOTAR. I read that before we started the podcast, but yeah. And ACOTAR book 6 is coming out this year, I want to say.
Oh, shit.
I think at the end of the year is what I've heard.
Wow.
But who knows? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Good times.
That's so crazy. Yeah, good times. Did you have any, really favorite moments?
You know, I think we talked about a lot of it. I think about Education and Mouse a lot when I think about the podcast, because that book was just so much fun to read together.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed our anticipated books. I think those have been really fun. Yeah. Especially because I don't think I brought it up last week, and I meant to, but I went back through to see if we read the 2024 releases that we mentioned, and we really did hit a lot of them.
Hell yeah.
Like probably 80% of them.
Wow.
We went back and read them and talked about them on the podcast. So we know what we like, and we definitely know which books we're excited to read.
Facts.
And I think that's how it's going to be for this year too, because the 2025 books that we just talked about last week, I am stoked to read.
Same.
I cannot wait to read them. So yeah, I think those are always really fun. And I just love we come up with random themes for episodes.
We do.
That usually we decide the day of what we're recording, like what we're going to do.
True.
And those have been really fun too, I have to say, just some random stuff. The snacks episode stands out to me. The romance book trends is another one that's come up as a top recorded, and I think that's a great one. We also did 2-ish banned books episodes.
Yeah.
And I think those are really great too. So yeah, I think it was fun. That was fun for me.
Yeah. What a fun time. I'm so glad, not to get all mushy, but I'm so glad that we started this, and I'm so glad that we did this, because I think it was such a let's just do it, wing it kind of moment. And I think it was one of my highlights of last year was doing the podcast.
Same. I
cool.
look forward to it every week. It's really fun. It's really fun. I'm glad that we did it too.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad that we're still doing it.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it, and continuing to do it, because It's not
Yeah.
going
Well, I have a
nowhere.
little bit of statistics, like not very much, only one piece
Sure.
of statistic, but total downloads for the year,
Mhm.
and I guess this is including this year too, because we had an episode that came out last week, but 376 total downloads.
Wow. Let's
From
go.
episode 1 to 51. And it's good. It's a good number. I'm actually proud of that number. It's probably not as high as people would expect, but you know what? There's a shit ton of podcasts out there, so
It's
the
true.
fact that some people are listening is phenomenal. And
Mhm.
to all the listeners out there, we love and appreciate you, and thank you so much for listening every week.
I agree. I also appreciate like anyone that's willing to listen. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It makes it fun that we know people are listening to us.
It does. And it helps us out too. Not that we get like paid or anything, but it like
Yeah.
pushes us into more people's ears, into your ear holes.
Yeah, and then the more people listen, the more motivated we are to
That too.
do more. You know,
That
so
too.
yeah, it's great.
I agree.
I was actually thinking too, like, I wish I had saved some like boober reel content
Oh my gosh.
from like
yes.
outtakes, because do you remember the time? And I'll leave this in the episode. Do you remember the time I accidentally called myself an e-girl?
Yes.
And we spent about 5 minutes laughing our asses off.
I love that.
I wish I had saved that so that I could go back to it.
That would have been so
Uh,
great.
That was pretty funny. And there's definitely been like other outtakes. That's the only one I can think of, but there's been other outtakes. I was like, man, I wish I'd saved those so that we could like run a blooper reel or something.
Sorry, I'm re-cracking up about it.
It was pretty random.
That was great. I totally
pretty
like
random.
I remember it, but I forgot about it until you talked about it.
Yeah, it was. I think we were talking about ebooks. Maybe it was probably like our third episode, and I
Mhm.
accidentally said I was trying to say I'm such an ebook person, but I ended up saying e-girl. We spent about a solid 5
Oh
minutes
my
just
God.
laughing so hard.
Wasn't there like something that I did recently, like in the last maybe 4 episodes, that I was like a dumbass and I didn't mean to say, but I said it? I can't remember what it was. Oh my god.
Yes, there was something both of us were trying to remember something,
Yes.
and we spent like a solid 4 or 5 minutes trying to remember what we were trying to remember, and
I love
I
that.
have no idea what it was, but it was really funny. And it was something really like that we should have known right out of the jump or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, it was good.
Classic.
So maybe this year I'll save some outtakes that I'll put in a folder somewhere, and that we can use them for next year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Awesome.
what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about top episodes.
Mhm.
The first episode is our number one listen to, which isn't
Mhm.
a big shocker. Book trends and reading habits, Ice Planet Barbarians, I think we did 3
Mhm.
episodes on that. So those are top ones.
Yeah.
Snacks to sustain you during reading, Throne of Glass recap,
Wow.
and then the most recent being the interview with Jamie Harrow, which was
Oh,
like
good.
2-ish months ago, was also up there. So all those are like our, best of books and bees.
Hell
so
yeah.
far.
And
Yeah.
I have some statistics, kind of,
Sweet.
just looking through our Instagram that I haven't updated. I'm so sorry. My bad. I'll do that.
We're still on Apple Podcasts, so I don't feel so bad.
We've been this has been like a weird month, and it's only like the second week of January, so
Yeah. It's been a weird year, and it's only the second week of January.
truly. So yeah, just bear with me. Give me a little bit of grace. I have to give myself a lot of grace.
Yeah.
But so I was looking back really quickly just now, in all transparency, just now, through our Instagram, and I was seeing what was our most liked post. And our most liked post, I'm not going to say how many likes it was, because it wasn't a whole lot, but it was the most liked one. Was our post about the Buzzy 2024 releases. We talked about our Buzzy books.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, and I highlighted some of our books, which our Buzzy books of 2024 releases were, the ones that didn't make it onto the podcast were How We Named the Stars, a novel by Andres N. Dorica. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. The Stardust Grail by Yume Kitase.
I love that book.
Sorry again for my pronunciation.
Kitase, I think it's Kitase, yeah.
Okay. The Brides of High Hill, which I need to read.
Love that book.
By Nevo.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Body Check by L. Kennedy, which I don't think I actually read that, and I need to read that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
And then A Tempest of Tea. I have that book. It's sitting on my shelf. It's waiting to be read. By sorry, I can't read the because it's small. Hafsa Faisal?
I want to read that one too, actually. It's on my list.
Yeah, and then the other one was Womb City, which you did read.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
That was great. Hit my top 10.
And I need to read because it's in
That's
my
good.
TBR, and I need to read it because it sounded so good.
That's good.
By Tololo Tomase. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were our buzzy books that like didn't make it to the podcast, but did make it onto our
Cool.
Instagram.
Damn.
Yep.
We're good at picking anticipated books.
We
for sure.
are. We picked some.
I sent Hailey a list of 5 books that I didn't get
Yeah.
to talk about on the podcast for 2025.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for those. Some of them I probably should have talked about on the episode, to be honest, because they're series that I mentioned on the show, but I don't know. That's okay.
I mean, I feel like it's hard to like narrow it down, and then we only want to keep the
it's so
podcast in
hard.
like so much time, so
Yeah. We don't want to have like a 2-hour, 4-hour episode.
or do we know
Yeah,
long form content? You're welcome.
that's true. Oh, that's great. Yay. And did you say how many followers we have on Instagram?
Yeah, we have 95 followers on Instagram. We're almost at
Woo!
100.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think some of the bots left, which is nice.
Oh, good. I am actually glad about that because
Same.
my like Cody Books and Bees,
Mm-hmm.
I had so many bots following me. I was really frustrated by it.
Same.
So
Yeah. It's bad.
yeah, it is. It was really annoying. I'll be honest. I think I've learned Instagram, like social media, is not for me.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about doing a TikTok, but
Mhm.
since it might be banned, which we didn't talk about. We were going to talk about that during
Yeah.
the beekeeping segment, and we forgot.
Well,
Here we are.
here we are talking about it.
Since TikTok might get banned, which is a terrible thing because Book Talk is what introduced me to Sarah J. Maas, and I think is really where a lot of people are getting their content for books right now.
Mhm. Yeah.
TikTok might be banned in America, so that is depressing, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I think it might.
Yeah.
So
Way to infringe on
probably
our
won't
rights,
start TikTok.
America, bitches.
Yeah. It's
It's
rough.
our freaking Second Amendment? No, First Amendment. Second Amendment's
First
bear
Amendment.
arms. First Amendment rights, you little shits.
First Amendment rights.
How dare
yep.
you? Freedom of speech.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Oh, well.
So hopefully it doesn't happen. And that is supposed to happen on the 19th, I think. Is that what
Mhm.
you said?
Yep, January 19th.
So that'll be like the weekend after this episode airs. So
Yeah.
you guys will know before we do what happens.
Mhm.
So hopefully, fingers crossed, something happens and it's not banned. But if it is, then I guess we'll all go somewhere else.
Yeah. And if it does, we'll still be on Instagram. So
Yep. Yep. We'll still be alive.
we'll still
We
be
have no
here.
TikTok.
Yeah.
We have no TikTok.
We'll survive. It'll be okay.
Yeah, it will be okay. Cool. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I have some questions.
Mhm, mhm.
Maybe we can go through a few of them before we wrap up.
Hell yeah.
So, since this podcast has started, how do
Mhm.
you feel like your reading life has changed? Haley?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Gosh, that's so deep. I don't know. I feel like I've been, you know what? I feel like I've been much more intentional in the books that I've been reading.
Mhm.
Because I feel like doing this podcast, I've got a little bit more in depth in book talk and bookstagram and all that other fun stuff. And not to get like totally serious, but I found some authors that were not doing some very good things that I was previously a fan of, and then I learned,
Yeah.
oh shit, oops, which I try not to like support people like that, you know, like, because especially when buying their books is like a direct like helping of them. But in doing that, I've been much more intentional about the books that I've been reading, as far as like the authors and the type of content. Even obviously I'm still a romance reader through and through.
Yeah.
But you know, I really branched out. I feel like when I first started my reading back up in the last few years, I was just reading whatever the fuck, and now I feel like I'm reading like more LGBTQ, which I'm a part of that community, so I feel like I should be reading more of that, and more diverse authors, which is really cool. You know, supporting more indie authors, which is really cool. And I've grown the shit out of my book collection. I have like, I mean, I don't know if anyone knows about those, like, they're black and yellow Costco totes. They're freaking massive. Those
are huge.
I have one full of books from our move from Illinois to Washington, just in like a year span. And then I have books on my shelf currently that I still haven't read. But yeah, so that's just been, I think, how my reading life has changed since we started. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. What about you?
I love it. Yeah, I would say kind of ditto on everything that you just mentioned. I would say I've become, I think now when I read, I think about how I should recommend this book to other people, which is not something that I've always done. Because I'm always thinking like, oh, how do I want to talk about this on the podcast? How do I want to make this book seem? I would say I have read more romance books than I've ever read this last year, which part of it is because of ACOTAR / Sarah J. Maas. She really kind of brought me into that like romantasy space, and Fourth Wing and like things like that, which Fourth Wing is kind of the reason this podcast started in the first place. So
true.
That was really interesting. So I think that part of it is new, and I would say I feel like the podcast simultaneously put a little bit of pressure on me to read books, but also helped me realize that I can take the pressure off myself, which is kind of a weird like dichotomy. But like both of our goals this year are about not making our reading life so stressful, and I feel like the podcast has kind of helped me realize that I don't need to be this crazy person who reads the most insightful books and recommends, you know, just crazy fun wild reads that no one thinks about. Where I can read books that are just really fun and like super popular that everybody knows about. Like I love talking about ACOTAR. I love talking about Sarah J. Maas and all the sci-fi books that I read. And some of them are kind of niche and cool, and some of them are like super mainstream that everybody already knows about that I just haven't had a chance to read yet, and I think that's okay. So you know, take the pressure off myself a little bit.
Hell yeah.
How would you say we've influenced each other in our reading lives?
I don't know. That's also another good question. I'm trying to think. I feel like you've opened my eyes to a lot more sci-fi, because I haven't been into sci-fi since, gosh, probably middle school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and since then I mostly read a lot of like fantasy or like paranormal type stuff. A little bit of like mystery thrown in there. But yeah, I feel like lots of sci-fi books like are just sitting, I mean, I haven't read a bunch because I'm stupid, but they are sitting in my TBR waiting to be read, which I will get to those hopefully soon. I'm trying to think of what else. I feel like you made me read more. Yeah, that's how you
I did it with that. I think so too. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think we've read. Oh, and banned books. I didn't really put a lot of thought into banned books until we
Yeah.
started really talking about it.
Yeah, I think too. I
yeah.
think we both, improved on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you like the podcast has made us both read more, I think.
Yep.
Because we're talking about books more, which makes me think about books more, and then like what I want to read more, which is really nice. What I like about us as co-hosts is that we're actually very different readers.
Yeah.
Because you are like majority romance reader, and I'm a mood reader that jumps through a lot of different genres.
Yeah.
You have a very stringent TBR, and I have a very loose TBR. Like we are like opposites in a lot of ways in our reading life, but we mesh together well when we like talk about books and we read the books together. So that's what I think is fun, is that we've kind of like learned a little bit from each other, and it's like I'm trying to get my TBR managed because it's really just completely useless to me right now. So like, you know, it's fun to hear from a reader who's so different from me.
I agree.
And you know, we are similar in a lot of ways. Like we like a lot of the same books and stuff like that, but we're definitely different in a lot of ways, and it's good to be exposed to that. I think.
No, I agree. Yeah. And while you're talking about that, I was thinking about how like we get to kind of intellectualize a little bit on I mean, we keep things fairly light, but we also can intellectualize quite a bit about the books we read and that sort of thing in this podcast, which is really cool because I feel like that's given me like an added bonus space that I didn't realize that I was missing in my life prior to starting the podcast. I didn't realize how much I had missed intellectualizing about things that I'm passionate about. And
no, it's true.
Yeah, it's been really cool being able to come together and converse about those things that because it's not like we just talk about books, because we talk about other stuff, which is really fun and cool and impactful. So
no, I agree with you, and I think that's what I like about the co-reads so much, is that like we're reading the book at the same time. We're able to like really dissect it and talk about what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. That's what I like about like our banned books episodes. We really get into critical things. The like Black History Month episode and the Asian American episode, like all of those. Pride Month. All of those kind of helped us expand our horizons too in a lot of ways, which I think is great. So I definitely think we've had a good influence on each other.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I got one more question that's fun before we wrap up.
Okay.
If our podcast were a book, what would the title and genre be?
Oh shit.
I think the genre's easy.
Yeah.
I think the title's hard.
Oh gosh. That's a good question. I feel like you know what though? I feel like our genre would be some sort of like dystopian like romance set in like the future.
Yes,
and
I totally
there would be like some sort of mystery aspect to it that they have to like get past,
solve. Yes, I'm with you.
I was
totally gonna say like some sort of like dystopian mystery,
like dystopian Nancy Drew. But like with a romance spin to it. I don't know. Yes.
That's perfect. I think that's perfect.
I don't know what the frick the name would be though. That's a good question. I have no idea what the name would be.
I have no idea what the name would be.
The Never-Ending Mystery of the Future.
Did you just come up with that?
Yep.
That's amazing. That was actually a really good title.
Thanks.
That's a great title, actually. You should write that book.
Okay. Copyright, I call it.
Copyright, it's called. Can't take it.
Take it. Listeners.
Oh.
Get your own book.
Oh, that was great.
Thanks.
Yeah, cool.
That was a fun question.
Happy.
Like that.
That was a good question. Way to go, ChatGPT, for the help there. Appreciate it. Happy 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. Happy
Books and
1 year
Bees
anniversary.
podcast. That's amazing. I'm glad that we did it. We're killing it. If you want to thank us for recording episodes for 1 whole year, you can give us a review on your podcast listing app. It's free. And it takes about 20 seconds. This is our present from you.
Yeah,
to
you're
us. Yeah, you're welcome. Go ahead and just drop us that review. That would be fantastic. We would appreciate it. It's the best 1 year present we could get.
Oh, that was great.
You can also email us if you'd like to, and we would love to have you guys fill our inbox.
Yeah.
booksandbeespod@gmail.com. Our Instagram is @booksandthebeespod. And then, of course, for the whole year, our intro and outro to our podcast is the song Rendezvous by the American Indies. So we want to give them a shout out. They're doing great stuff. You can always find the link to their Spotify in our show notes.
Hell yeah. Thanks to American Indie. They've been with us for a year too.
They have been. Happy anniversary, American
Yeah.
Indie. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Hell yeah. Well, should I close this out?
Sure.
Cool.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, with that, we hope you enjoyed this literary journey as much as we did. If you're buzzing with excitement, don't forget to subscribe, email us, and leave a high 5-worthy review on your podcast listening app. Until next time, happy reading, and may your shelves be filled with tales as enchanting as a blooming garden. Keep the buzz alive, and we'll catch you in the next chapter. Bye for now.
So long to bye.